So in my head, I always thought that the idea of like science and faith were like, competing explanations for life. Um, like if you believed in one, you couldn't believe in the other. Like they were on opposite teams. It didn't make sense to me that God could like whip up heaven and the earth and creatures and humanity all in 7 days. And if that's what happened, then God could have easily done it like instantaneously. What's this story about 7 days? And it just seemed weird. And so I don't want to like insult anybody, but it seemed silly to me that was a thing. And then how do you explain dinosaurs and evolution and science, like facts? It When I did hear like explanations for that, people like Christians would say that dinosaur bones were put there by Satan, and that just like I shut that down. Anytime someone would refute a fact with paranormal stuff, like Satan, I just was not listening anymore. You can't go toe to toe with facts versus the devil. Um, like the facts that I did know were, I'm not sciencey, right? But the facts that I did know were, the universe is vast, oceans are vast, dinosaurs are a thing, evolution is a thing. Um, like life needs water and sunshine and nutrition, and that's the basic. That's the foundation of science for me. I'm not really into it, but um, another fact that I knew was that people suffer, and how can we have a divine being who knows us intimately um, let us suffer? That's a fact, right? So I don't know, I couldn't get around that. But then recently I started history classes, and we it was my ancient cities class, and so we're talking about like Rome, you know, um, Greece and Rome and the civilizations that started there, and then you get like little bits of the beginning of Christianity, right? Um, and so we started kind of going back to the early church and Catholicism and that sort of thing. This is before I even, wanted to convert or anything. That's just kind of what sparked my interest. Just seeing that the Christianity did exist long, long time ago, and that just kind of gave me the idea that maybe there's some truth to what they have to say. Um, that's not a great way to that they there was some vague validity to me in that moment that maybe Christians aren't BSing. There's some truth to what they say, that, that they existed that long ago. There might be connection with Christ. All that sort of thing like occurred to me at that point. And then recently, I started like looking into it, but it wasn't until recently that I learned about George Lamantra. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right, but he was a priest, and they call him, I don't know who calls him this, but they call him the father of the Big Bang Theory. And he developed he laid down, I'm not sure what he did, to be honest. I think he just like formulated the idea of the Big Bang Theory. I knew that he had some sort of relationship with Einstein. I think they were like frenemies, like competitors and stuff. But um, he was a priest, right? So to me, that like kind of woke that up in my mind. Like maybe these two spheres don't have to be completely separate. This religion and science thing, maybe there's something to it. If this priest was supporting the Big Bang idea, you know, why would, then there's more to explore for me, or there was more to explore for me. So that was in like the 30s or whenever Einstein was around. But before that, there was another friar, I think it was like in the 1800s, and um, I think they call him the father of genetics. He, I don't know who these people are that call that nicknamed him these things, and I'm not even sure if that's like entirely accurate. But just from what I've read, he laid down the foundations of genetics, and I think he started with like plant. I shouldn't be talking about this like it's fact, but anyway, my point is there are priests there in my history studies. There were priests and monks and friars and all those guys that believed in science, and science the way I know it, not just God created water and then lions and sunlight and sundown, or I don't know. But this happened to me because, and nobody told this to me. That's just what made sense to me in my head, was that because of like modern culture, we put these things in different spheres, like religion and science and politics and technology, um, love. I don't know, just in these different spheres, right? And it makes sense. It's nice. It's neat. It's organized. Compartmentalizing is supposed to be um, healthy. Like in your mental health, I guess. Like it's just organized. But the problem with that, as I get older, I'm learning that life is messy and it doesn't stay in these boxes, in these spheres. Everything, you know, not only like bounces against each other, but really kind of melds into each other. Like, for example, the science and theology. Um, there's like another example would be right now, like AI is a thing, right? It's our biggest concern right now, and the reason why it's a concern is because we're afraid that it'll become um, it's sentient. Is that a word? That it'll start, making decisions, and like we're not relying on its own knowledge and working on its own. Like it has agency to be without us. So, that makes us ask things like, can it think? Um, can it like love, or is it conscious? Um, is it like a person? Does it deserve rights? But all of that is basically like asking, does AI have a soul? Um, which is interesting because we like to keep these ideas separate, right? But here again is like technology and theology, because we're talking about these things, like being able to make decisions on its own, basically being alive. So, anyway, Well, that was a hang up that I had. But like today I still believe in evolution. I believe in the Big Bang theory. Um, I believe in dinosaurs, and I believe in God. I believe He's the creator. I think He started all these things.